Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris Bruton Fishing. Hey, I'm going to talk about Point-1 antennas on your Lowrance electronics, and also hooking up multiple Point-1 antennas on your boat. Alright, so first off, we got, here's my boat here. I got two HDS9 carbons in the front and two HDS12 carbons at the bow. I also got a Point-1 antenna on the front, and I have another Point-1 antenna mounted in the back. And guys have often asked, what is a Point-1 antenna for, and what's it good? Why is it good? All right. So we'll just go right here, and I'll show you exactly why. So the Point-1 antenna. So this is on my home right now, but let's see. We'll go to a lake. So the good thing about a Point-1 antenna is normally if you have an icon, and there's just imagine that's in the middle of a lake, and you're trying to orient yourself on a waypoint that you marked with a brush pile. The Point-1 antenna serves as a compass antenna, and it'll keep your boat orientation straight in the direction that your boat is. If you don't have this and you start drifting backwards with the wind or current, then your boat icon will actually flip around, and it'll go in a direction that the boat is moving versus the direction that the boat is traveling. So let's just say that cursor right there was my waypoint. Alright, and I wanted to fish that waypoint. What the Point-1 antenna will allow me to stay oriented on that boat. So here's what I do in my settings once I have my Point-1 antenna hooked up. I'll go to settings, I'll go to chart, and I'll go to heading extension. I'll turn that on, and sometimes I'll even turn on my range rings. The range rings will give me a distance, so I know how far away I am from a waypoint. But let's go back to that chart and check it out what it looks like. Alright, so here we go now with the Point-1 antenna and the heading extension on. My direction of travel is not going to change because my Point-1 antenna is keeping me straight. So if that was a waypoint, that cursor, it would show me that although it's showing 2.1 miles, but you can see how far away it is, and then also you see how the boat is oriented on the in the direction of that waypoint. So if I was trying to cast towards that waypoint, it would be off my left corner of my bow, and I could actually turn my boat in order to point directly at that waypoint, and now I know how far I am from that waypoint to cast to it. Okay, so that's the importance of the Point-1 antenna. It really allows you to get your stuff, your boat and everything oriented on where you're at. The other thing I want to show you is, since I do have two of them, people always ask, well, why do you have two? And the reason I have two is because when I mark a waypoint, when I'm back here at the console, when I'm driving around and I find a brush pile and I want to mark that waypoint, I can still, hit my waypoint, and it'll save that position based off of this transducer, or excuse me, off of this Point-1 antenna, the position. Now, if you notice, I have my 3D transducer right here behind the boat, and then inside the boat, if you open this up, you look down in there, that's my, we can't really see, it's dark, but my puck transducer is down in the belly of my boat down there. So when I mark my waypoint, I'm literally on top of the structure that I found. So that's why I have the one in the back. Now once I found, excuse me, once I found my spot and I start to fish and I move up front and I want to get my boat oriented so I can fish on top of it, what I do is I have my Point-1 antenna up here, and I have these units networked onto that Point-1 antenna. So now when I look at my position on here, these units are going to go off of that GPS location. So the waypoint right here, if you notice, it says home on here. That's my house in the middle of that waypoint madness. But all those trails and everything. But that waypoint is the same on the front as in the back. So this one is going to show it in relation to the front of the boat. These graphs are going to show it in relation to the back of the boat. That makes sense. Now the way you do that is once you hook them both up through your NEMA network, you're going to have to identify which one is which. Sometimes it's hard to do it, so just unplug one and you'll see them both in there. So what you want to do, you'll go to settings. Oops. Go to settings, hit that on accident. Then go to network, where we at? Go to network, and go to device list. Okay? This is going to show you everything that's hooked up to your graph. Now, you scroll down, there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. And right here at the bottom, you'll see I got point-1 back and point-1 front. So I put the front and back on there myself. In other words, if I didn't do that, it would just say point-1 and point-1. I wouldn't know which one unless I knew what the number was on this side here. So instead of me trying to figure out and remember 732 is the back and 3832 is the front, what I do is once I know which one's which by unplugging it, once I unplug one of them is going to drop off. So if I unplug the back, now I know that this one's the front. So anyway, I would hit this one, and right here where it says the name, you just simply tap in there, and with the QWERTY keyboard, you can put in there back or front or whichever one you want. And once you're done with that, just exit out, go back to pages again because it resets it, and then, you know, go to setting, network, device list. Now, so now you got them named. The second thing you have to do is you have to go back to your network again, and now you got to go to data sources. Now, if I want these graphs to read that point-1 antenna up here in the front of the boat, what I have to do is I have to go to data sources. Now, GPS, hit the blue line on GPS, and then, oops, sorry, and then all local data. So all data. Now yours may say global, mine says local because I changed it. I want all my data that I put on these units to only read off of that GPS up front. So that's why I put it on local. And how you do that is you tap the blue arrow. So I need to zoom out. Tap the blue arrow here, and then it'll say scope local. Put yours on local, hit exit, and then you can select which one. So I got this one selected on the front, and I did the same thing for this graph. So anytime I mark a waypoint in front of my boat, if I see something on my transducer in the front, I got a HDI transducer on here. So if I see something in 2D downscan, then I can save that waypoint, and when I do it, it'll save it directly on top of that this GPS location. So these aren't using the internal GPS that is in these units. It's using the point-1 antenna instead. So again, when I go back to the back of the boat, same thing. When I idle over a brush pile and I want to mark it, I hit waypoint, and it's going to use the point-1 antenna in the back of the boat. And that's because when I go to settings on here and I hit my network, and let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing, and you hit network, okay, I go to data sources, GPS, again we're on local, right, and this one's point-1 back. So these units are set up the same for point-1 back. Either one, if I have a GPS waypoint that I pull up, is going to go off of that point-1 antenna, which is co-located with the transducer. Okay, guys? So I hope that helps. I know some folks have point-1s or whatever up here, or they got a GPS antenna up here, but this is really the best way to do it. That way your unit is actually reading where your transducer is. And when you mark something, you'll be right on top of it. Hope that helps. You understand? Any questions? Let me know. Sorry about the mess on the boat. There's unpacking some stuff. Go Yankees, go Bills. I'll see you next time. Later. Peace.